back to game. All right, so it does tend to sort of capture the first few seconds. So I'll just presume that this is actually going to make it onto the video.
Okay.
For fun. Welcome to the Church of Reason of Latter-day Non-Saints. There we go. We're on, which is awesome. All right, now I'm streaming the game. We're in our little our little cave. We built this underneath the cathedral, sort of as a starting position. You know, we all hung out in caves as semi hyper intelligent monkeys and on forward for hundreds of thousands of years, really.
Where nothing changed for 5,000 years, according
Or
to
more, right?
According to devs. That's the line right out of devs.
Nice. Yeah, right. Well, and we started watching Cosmos as well, which is like as religious an experience as I'm likely to ever have. The new one is fantastic. It's every bit as enlightening as the first one, and it seems like every single episode there is new stuff. By the way, it's nighttime already, so we're gonna run out into the cathedral. We're gonna do some gratitudes. By all means, if you want to throw some in the comments,
right?
We'll have some people throw the well, it's just us and
we should probably share the link back to Facebook here, huh?
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. Hey, good morning, Aster, and not somebody I recognize. I hope you're okay.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
We promise everybody's gonna keep their pants on today. That's
probably we're probably gonna keep our pants on today. Yeah. Man, the gratitudes are filling up. Look at this. I haven't been in here in a while. This is really cool. Thank you to you guys who were building the new ones. I didn't realize it would go right up to the ceiling like that. That looks cool too. Awesome. All right, so I need to write up a gratitude myself, like right now.
Okay. Okay, so there's the Church of Reason shared too, and Corey and Greg's gratitude Minecraft server group. Let's do that. So I have a bit of an announcement. We get a few more folks in here.
All right. We got about 3 minutes before we got to race up to the top.
Oh, we can do it after the sermon part. So that's cool.
All right, I'm not seeing the chat. Oh, there we go. Cool. Hey, Doreen, if you have any gratitudes, we gotta rip that part. We gotta do that part up with the quickness this morning. And good morning, Bubble Viz. What's up? All right, so here it is, the cathedral. Man, it's nice to be in here. You know, it's fun. We still haven't gotten rid of that piece of glass up there from our the construction snafu.
Yep, I notice it every time I'm in here, and I keep forgetting to bring scaffolding to go fix it.
Right? Maybe we should just leave it. Speaking of Cosmos, I was talking about that before. He of course had the amazing passage about the pale blue dot, which you can actually go back and hear him say it on the very first episode of Church of Reason that is on this channel.
Yep.
I think it's in the playlist that I created for it. So this is Greg's sort of stained glass Minecraftian rendition of it that I just love.
I want to make it bigger. I want to make a bigger one.
That's what she said. What? Bob, if you're watching this later, that sex joke was brought to you by me for you. Anyways,
yeah, that works.
Indeed.
Are we upstairs now? Oh no, you're down here.
No, but pretty soon though. I think we probably have about a minute. I just want to go and check the location of the moon. Yeah, I would say about 60 seconds before we have to be out there. Maybe a little bit less.
I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to move this crafting table into the ground because you can put them at surface level and they look less intrusive that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have at her.
Like so.
All right, I'm gonna head out. It's no. Wow.
Yeah, I can't pet Katarina. I guess you can only pet Katarina if she's your cat.
Okay.
So that's a bummer. But
Oh, Jenner, the railing of sanity.
yes. Yeah,
We
Mishi
gotta.
was going to join us this morning. I think she's in bed now,
Oh,
but I was like, you just don't touch anything. You're welcome to join us. Just don't touch anything.
right. Okay. It's dusk. So what we do here, guys, we have a moment of silence during the sunrise, and then I will say a few words and share a few things. See if anyone else in the community wants to do it. But here we go. Man, I miss the sunrise. The real one. This one is. It always amazes me that it's close enough that I sure get an echo of the same kind of feeling, which is awesome. Um, for the things that I want to share this morning, and we do have a bunch of announcements about the world and some different things that we're going to be trying out and all that good shit. I was listening to a Radiolab episode this morning, and there is one quote that I wanted to dig into real quick from Richard Feynman. It's actually the beginning of his physics lecture at Caltech, because he wanted a kind of a way to organize people's thinking about the history of physics and how we have come to know the things that we know and how intense and awe-inspiring and important that is. So he said, if in some cataclysm all of scientific knowledge were to be destroyed and only one sentence passed on to the next generation of creatures, what statement would contain the most information in the fewest words? I believe it is the atomic hypothesis that all things are made of atoms, little particles that move around in perpetual motion, attracting each other when they are a little distance apart, but repelling upon being squeezed into one another. In that one sentence, you will see there is an enormous amount of information about the world, if just a little imagination and thinking are applied. And if you start to unpack it, all physics, you can actually extrapolate out to astrophysics, all chemistry, all life, and it's just sort of beautifully condensed. Anyway, Feynman actually has a biography out that I highly recommend. I listened to it on Audible. It's really, really good stuff. The other thing I wanted to share this morning was one of the things that came up on First Coffee this morning or this week were some 5 rules to basically start creating more control over the thoughts that you have, and actually sort of initially creating a disassociation. Most of us think that we are, our thoughts. We identify with our thoughts, and it's not really true, right? Like the vast majority of the time that we would consider ourselves to be thinking, we're not directing that, right? That's your brain serving up what it thinks you need to know in the moment. So I'm actually going to read through all of the rules that we came out with. I'll share the article to anybody who wants it. They're all the little exercises. So number 1 was disobey on purpose. Let me start with one that I'm sure will seem perplexing. Just trust me. Stand up and carry a phone, book, or another object with you while you walk slowly around the room, reading this next sentence aloud several times. Yes, read this sentence while walking. I actually had my mom do this, and she admitted she was doing it, and it is very awesome. Okay, if you're ready, stand up, walk, and read. Here's the sentence. I cannot walk around this room. I cannot walk around this room. I cannot walk around this room. Keep walking. Slowly but clearly repeat that sentence as you walk at least 5 or 6 times. I cannot walk around this room. Okay, now you can go sit back down. If you were doing that, pause it, do it up. And again, I'll send you this article. You can try all this stuff on your own. It's such a tiny thing, isn't it? It's a tiny poke in the eye of the dictator within, which is what I call the domineering problem-solving part of your brain that is constantly suggesting solutions for our psychological pain and a little tug on your superhero cape. This exercise was one of our earliest diffusion discoveries. Even though it's silly, it is a silly exercise. A team in Ireland showed recently in a laboratory experiment that it immediately increased tolerance to experimentally induced pain by nearly 40%. In the study, people were willing to keep their hand on a very, very hot plate, not hot enough to the point of injury, but hot enough to cause real pain, 40% longer, after just a few moments of saying one thing while doing the opposite. Even the smallest demonstration that the mind's power over you is an illusion can give you significantly more freedom to do hard things. You can easily build this into your life as a regular practice. Right now, I'm thinking I cannot type this sentence as I am typing, which is crazy. I'm just going to do 2 of them because people can get the article and read the rest of them. Give your mind a name and listen to it politely. So again, this is creating that dichotomy, right, between the thoughts that your mind is constantly serving up as sort of an automatic machine versus the watcher. It's kind of what we do, in meditation. I say what we do, like I barely meditate, and I just know what it's supposed to do. So give your mind a name and listen to it politely. When we listen to another person, we choose whether we agree with what they have to say or not. With our internal voice, we don't usually feel like we have that option to agree or disagree, but that's the posture I'd like you to try taking. Research has shown that naming your mind, mine ended up being named Ted. It just happened.
Welcome to Corey's TED Talk.
Yeah, right. Well, that's honestly like that. I and when we were first doing this, I was going backwards and forwards, trying to my brain was trying to find a name that was cool, but not too cool, but also cool, but like maybe different. And watching my mind serve up all this fucking nonsense until the point where I got to the point where I was like, okay, the next name that pops into your head, you're just gonna take Ted. Oh, cool, TED Talks, and I felt cool about myself even about that, which all of that was really goofy. Anyway, research has shown that naming your mind, give it a name other than the one you call yourself, helps with this. Why? Because if your mind has a different name, it is different from you, in quotations. I call mine George. Pick any name you like. Even Mr. Mind or Mrs. Mind will do. Now say hello to your mind by using its new name. Hello, Ted. As if you were being introduced to it at a party. Of course, if you're around others while reading this, say on a bus or a train, do this in your head. I actually don't recommend that. I want you to do it out loud because it's funnier. Anyway, so there's a few more, and they're all kind of in that vein. One of them is appreciating what your mind is trying to do, being grateful, actively grateful for even the nonsense that your brain is sending up to you at any given moment, right? The hey, I really want some cookies, or rum, right? Like I think I'm taking another break from a long-term break from drinking as of last night. Actually wanted to start a couple of days ago, but then we just drank rum again for the fucking shit of it. And there's going to come those points where it's like, hey, go have some more ice cream or have this or whatever. Like, hey, Ted, thank you very much for that suggestion. And I appreciate that you're actively trying to feed me some more dopamine and serotonin from this. But I'm choosing to go this other route, right? Like it allows you that, I think, that pattern interrupt. And then maybe even increased agency, but it avoids the trap of blaming yourself or identifying with failure or any of that stuff, right? Like you've basically separated out those negative automatic patterns as not you, as a thing that your hyper intelligent monkey mind machine is serving you up, just based on stuff that you don't really want anymore, right? So anyway, that stuff's super interesting. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you want the article, message me. Obviously, if you want to come play in the server with us, you can message one of us and we can get you whitelisted. But Greg, do you want to kind of talk about the evolution? Like what are we planning on fucking with this week?
I want to talk about what you're talking about in our sermon this morning. I want to talk about your sermon for a minute.
Yeah, by all means.
I made an immediate correlation when we were watching that, when I watched you do that the first time through, that this is actually a well-known device for treating PTSD in therapy, in cognitive behavioral therapy. The exercise that I was taught was that the therapist that was helping me work through that, she told me that repeat this sentence: I am putting on my pants. And I said, what? She says, just say, I'm putting on my pants. And I said, I'm putting on my pants. She said, now say it 3 more times. I am putting on my pants. She said, are you putting on your pants? I was like, well, no. And she said, right, you were traumatized. Right? It was her way of making sure that my mind was able to compartmentalize the trauma as a past thing, not a thing that's insignificant or unimportant, but it's not happening to you right this minute. And so that's a tool that they use in very early treatment of people with PTSD to help them cope with, things that trigger their PTSD, is say to yourself, I'm putting on my pants, because it's not happening to you right now. It helps make your mind associate what you're thinking and feeling with a thing that is from your past. And I just thought that was extraordinary that your daily Stoic reading kind of brought that to the fore. And then we later in that discussion, I think you found they even said in cognitive behavioral therapy, it's one of the things that they do. So I just thought that was an interesting observation, that the science of this checks out. It's not woo,
No,
it's a real thing that we know about the human mind and how it works and how it expresses. So I just thought that was something worth mentioning.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the more interesting things about the Daily Stoics, and I think why there's so many correlations and parallels to the kind of science around human psychology now, is it really they were just developing a user manual for the best machine they had, which was their own mind, right?
Yep. And things that last are generally things that are true, right? The things that work that work 2,000 years ago work now.
Yep.
For our monkey minds. So
indeed.
All right, so I want to talk about the server for a minute. Here's what happened. What happened was when we first started looking into doing this, I actually created all the tools I needed to build a custom Minecraft server, but it's difficult. It's difficult to set it up and manage and work in it. And Corey immediately, like Corey does, just spontaneously just found, oh, here's a free server host. I will make us a free server, and he did in about 5 minutes. And it was good, but the experience of working with a free server,
good. That was the third day.
There are limits to what you can do on a free server. There are things that you can't control, things that are difficult to manage. And I started looking at the idea of a paid server for our Minecraft world. And I spent, I don't know, a few days over this past week sort of looking into which hosting, deal or package or tools were the best thing for us. And I found one. And so yesterday, thanks to generous donations from Corey and from Bob Benson, managed to secure us a paid server on Apex Hosting. It's going to take me a few days to make sure that I roll out all the tools correctly. Again, we learned some harsh lessons when we first started this. And one of those lessons was you got to whitelist people or somebody will drop bombs on your cathedral. That was a harsh lesson. And so I want to make sure before we open it up to people that we have protected everything in this world, and that we potentially can run this world not only in this peaceful mode that you're in now, but the same world on, you would log into a different start point or a lobby, and you could either go to the peaceful version of this world, or you could log into this world in the survival mode where it has mobs and things that you have to contend with, and maybe spawn protect a certain area of it. But anyway, I'm working out all the details of how to roll it out so it's usable for everybody. And it won't have this silly login system where you go to a lobby and you have to wait for our server to start. Essentially, our server will be on 24/7. And all you have to do is jump in and join. And you go directly to a spawn point in the world that we are going to create. We're going to import this world into that server. And so that's what I'm working on this week, is making sure that we have a good, secure place to play. And I also want to say that, like, using some integration tools from that, I think it's going to make it easier for other people to join us in Minecraft. It's going to make it a much more streamlined, easy thing for people to show up and join us here in our Minecraft world. So
cool.
That's what I want to say. And Corey, where are you? I want to show you a magic trick. You should come down here. You're going to love this.
Okay.
We're going to get down to gratitudes in a minute, and I'm going to show you
Boink.
something. All right, so you see this dark brown sign right here?
I do.
It says grateful for nerdy creative people, Greg?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
I lost your audio. Do. Still no audio. Muted. You're muted now. On the thing. Hopefully I did not lose him. Seems like I might have. Alrighty. Here's hoping that works. All right. Stop sharing this for a minute. See if I can. I think I might have legitimately lost Greg. That is so sad. All right. Well, Laugh Track, if you can hear me, can you tell me what's happening? I wonder if I just lost everyone. That would be so sad. We'll have to get to the tricks later, I suppose. I guess. Hey, Warren. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. We'll get to the tricks and new updates and Zoom stuff at a later time. Bye.